Arua City. I don't know how it is in the local governments. In Arua City, we witness early rains. I know that must be signs of blessings for the due course of the day. If at all you're still home, you need to do one thing, that is to move out of your home now to where you hustle, so that you can be able to get something small for yourselves in there. And that is where we are going to be doing the discussions for this Tuesday morning. It is the 20th of the month of August. With us left 10 days to wind up with the month. Benson, you're most welcome as we begin of the show before me taking over in a terrible speed. You're most welcome.
Thank you, Faris. Good morning to you. Good morning, the viewers who are catching us from the different places. Not only in the region of West Nile, but I should say all over the world, because West Nile television is not only for the people in West Nile region, as I continue to say. People watch us from the different parts of the world. You are most welcome. Like you have said, my name is Oraku Benson Pastor.
Yes, Benson, yesterday we did see the president under his office was already doing what we call reshuffles for the RDCs. And the West Nile sub-region was not spared.
Yeah, exactly. That's where
what leader do you say maybe surprised you in these reshuffles, whom you wanted maybe to go or wanted to stay?
Actually, this is a breaking news. I should say it is a shocking story. Much as a breaking news, I can also add that it is a shocking story. I know so many people cannot believe this. And first, one thing the viewers, of course, still have not understood, have failed to understand, is, of course, the period which is given for these RCCs and these RDCs once they are shifted from one place to another. Because, you know, in some sectors, of course, that period is always allocated, like you stay for one year, 2 years, as 5 years. But you see, for RCCs and for RDCs, theirs comes automatic, and at any time. I think I should say, being a person who has been a resident of Arua City, one key RCC I should talk about is actually the head of RCCs in Arua City. I am talking about Charles Ichogor. His move actually has surprised me, has shocked me a lot, because this guy has been doing a lot of tremendous job as far as curbing the insecurity in Arua City is concerned. And now he is leaving. Who is that person?
You know, Benson, sorry to cut you short. You're not talking about him being in the lead of security. Yesterday, the social media goons, we are actually attacking him also for what he did, because the men who came out to us actually claimed that he is the one who was responsible for stopping their march to city council. And that is where they were saying, let him go. Was that enough to sort of let him go?
Okay. Is there anything he has done wrong to say that he has to go? Yeah, first of all, it's true that youths, they wanted to demonstrate against the leaders of Arua City, against corruption.
Against the leaders of this country, not only Arua City.
Yeah, particularly Arua City, because he's actually the president of Arua City, I should say. He actually controlled the situation in Arua City. First of all, the thing was already worsening if it was not because of him. Like, whenever something reaches to the extent of demonstration, know that expect something wrong on the way. Because when something is already at the stage, at the extent of demonstration, you know, demonstration, first of all, it might come peacefully, and it might not also come in a peaceful way. It might come in a havoc way. And you look at this man, Charles Ichogor, you look at the way how he managed to handle the situation. He has been a tremendous man, as he had said, as far as curbing the insecurity in the city is concerned. Not only that, not only stopping the youth from demonstrating against the leaders, but there are so many things he has been doing to see that the security in Arua City remains constant. Like, before he came, thugs were so many. When we talk about thugs, I know so many people will understand. But in the few months, he has not even finished the year. In the few months he has spent in office of Arua City RCC, this man has done a lot of tremendous job. First of all, of late, you go around the streets, you will see that the rate at which people, thugs are snatching the phones of people, the handbags of people, has really reduced much. Now the question is, who is that person who is coming on board for Arua City? And can that guy be in person, or can that man be in person?
Yes, this is the breakdown of Arua City. I want to first start with Arua City. I want to tell you Salim Kumakech is the one who is going to be replacing Charles Ichogor as Charles Chogor moves, that is another place in there. But now, the deputy also really wasn't spared as well. We did see Ezamaham Zami in charge of Central Division moving to Nyoya District as the deputy, also the RDC in there now. In Arua District also as well, we did see Tokoshaib from Adiokolo. That is also where he will be replacing, that is Okiswa Geoffrey. And then in Komoko as well, we did see M. Mitala, who has been the head, or what we call the whip of RDCs, also really being moved away to Pakwach District in there. Now we shall be having a new RDC also in Komoko in the Inyumbe as well. We do have also really a new RDC who is going to be coming also really in there, and that means many local governments we actually we are spared. We're not spared. And looking at some of the local governments also that we are not spared, we do have districts like Obongi, where we do have districts like districts like also Jumani, which also really will be remaining, and Moyo will be remaining. But the rest, we're also really affected in one way or the other in there, and that is where we did see the president and his powers to also really make sure these RDCs plus the deputies were also really reshuffled. And the main purpose for this is actually to make sure that service delivery improves. And maybe talking about the man in the names of Charles Chogor, I feel he isn't moving at the right time, because I really want to say he has been doing his work very well in Arua City, which I really feel deserves to be also really really praised, because we need to acknowledge that by the time he came in, remember he replaces Ali Sakelo, who is now the new in charge of RDCs in northern Uganda, and she will be the one who will be heading all the RDCs in the northern part of the country in there. Remember by that time we had a lot of also scuffles, we had a lot of demonstrations, but now he is going. What should we expect out of Salimu Kumaket, who is the new RDC, who is now the new RDC in charge of
First, the question is, has it happened at the right time? Is actually what everyone is looking forward to see. We have seen promotions, demotions for some of the RDCs, for some of the RCCs. And you know, working to curb insecurity is all about the connection you people build. One RCC will not come and will not be in a position to handle everything. First of all, you take a look at the relationship of Charles Chogor, who has already left Arua City, with the rest of the deputy RCCs and also the security officers. Is working along that area. Yeah, you might be a very good RCC or RDC from the previous place where you have been shifted from, but now coming into a new environment. How are you going to adapt with the security officers? How are you going to adapt with the assistant, maybe RCCs, as with the assistant RDCs? And also talking about the man himself, Kumaket. Can he be able to work soldier by soldier, as Charles Chogor used to say?
Yes, you're not talking about that slogan, shoulder by shoulder. I really feel it is very big.
And that slogan has been working for him.
And I believe it has been working, because just on this Saturday, we were at Arua Primary School where over 30,000 students from the schools in Arua City were passed out as patriots. And one of the praises that one of the leaders also raised is for the fact that Charles Chogor has reunited them with all the forces, where now the other leaders can be able to also interact freely with prisons, where they can freely interact with UPDF, where they can freely have chats with police, and that was clearly exhibited. We saw in the function there where police came, prisons came, UPDF was around. That means he has been a uniting factor amongst the leaders in there, but really he is gone, and I really want to maybe say that his services are better needed where he is going, but wish him all the best. And
first, the fact is, when you are a leader and you are living, you need to leave a legacy. Leaving a legacy comes in so many ways. First of all, leaving a legacy, I am talking about Charles Chogor. What are some of the achievements he has had with the Arua City as far as fighting insecurity is concerned? Yeah, so many may talk about one or two things he has achieved with he has achieved in Arua City as far as curbing insecurity is concerned. One key thing I still continue to talk about is before he came, issues of thugs grabbing people's phones, snatching people's handbags, what. It was much in Arua City. At least in his regime, much as he has not even finished the year, that situation at least has been curbed. Not extremely curbed, but to some extent it has been curbed. And at the same time, you know, controlling the situation of demonstration, more especially from the sector of youths, is something not easy. He managed to coordinate very well with security officers, with the assistant RCs, RCCs, with the rest of the leaders to see that the situation is calm. Up to now, you go around, there is nothing of that kind. Those are some of the achievements he has had. Because whenever you are living in power, as whenever you have been shifted somewhere, people flash back. They first take a look at your achievements. For him, he has done a lot.
Yes,
now the question
he is moving to Kotido, and that is already where he will be. Under his new station will be Kotido. That means people of Kotido in Karamadu sub-region should be waiting for his services in there. But now the answer to the question I should be asking myself is that what are some of the considerations maybe his head of state has already made to make sure these reshuffles are conducted?
Even that is
the question also I'm now asking myself this morning, because I really feel Arua City still needs Charles Chogor, and I believe he still has mission that is yet to be accomplished.
Exactly. First, that's where I want to pick. That is the reason as to why I was saying that what are some of the criteria the government is using to see that the settlements are done. That's why I was giving an example with some of the sectors. Like sometimes you are given 2 years, others are 1 year, others are 5 years. But you take a look at the issues of RCCs and RDCs. Anytime you are leaving, even some of them have not even spent a year. Some of them are less than 5 months in office. But they are going. You know, whenever you are taken to a particular place, before you achieve your goals, you always set targets. Like some of the RDCs, some of the RCCs, they are already set their system of how they can be able to curb insecurity. They have set it at the pipeline. Maybe it was about to come out. Now you are leaving to a new place. Is the new person who is coming to replace you can be able to pick it from where you have left? Another question you will of course have to ask. I think the criteria to me, that is according to me, of course will have to, government of course will have to work along that area. Someone who is working, if he or she has already set his or her goals, maybe of achieving something, you let him or her to first achieve it. Maybe if he fails.
You know, in this settlements, we also saw people being dropped and also being appointed as well. And one of the persons who was appointed newly for the very first time is one of the leaders who was also the former LC3 chairperson for River Oli Division, now formed also that is under Central Division. That is Ngupale Swadik Alemi, who has been the LC3 chairperson for River Oli Division, and now in these new appointments he is coming to replace, that is Ezam Zamil, as the Deputy Resident City Commissioner for Arua City. What can you say about this appointment?
Yeah, you know, whenever government takes that initiative to appoint you in a certain position, that means there is a trust in you. You know, being RCC or as being
and
RDC,
he has the experience of what you call Arua City, because he was once the LC3 chairperson for Rivoli Division.
That's why I'm saying that maybe there is something unique they have looked at him as far as working in the sector of security is concerned. First of all, he is a guy of the soil. He knows the corners of Arua City, and being a leader before, it's like, you know, these RDCs and RCCs, they work together with these other leaders.
And he understands the dynamics of NRM.
That means he's a good leader, but since he's still new into the office, there are some areas where, of course, you will have to see that he coordinates very well, such that the work flows very well for him. Me, I don't see any problem with that as far as the skills, the knowledge is there. What we are only waiting to see from him is the outcome of fighting insecurity is concerned.
And then corruption plus fighting poverty, because these RCCs have the mandate of pushing what we call the socio-economic transformation. And that is where Charles Chogor has been a musician when it comes to singing that song.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I feel has yielded something, not so?
Yeah, it's true. More special about the issue of socio-economic transformation. This guy actually has been the prophet. He has been the prophet, preaching the gospel each and every time, and at least it is working. You know, government is having its channels. That's why I continue to say that people think that the government is Museveni. Museveni is actually the head of the government, whereby the channels are there. In the channels, we have got representatives. That's why in each district or in each sub-city, we see RDCs and RCCs. Those are the presidents, I should say the sub-presidents of the government. So the channels, the government is using, the head of the state, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, channel it through the channeling the issues via the RDCs, via the leaders. Of course, you'll have to grab the opportunity. You need to be in position to teach the gospel, maybe lecture the gospel to the rest of the people. I'm talking about this man, Charles Itogoro. Truly, he has been actually the prophet behind the preaching of socio-economic transformation. At least, to some extent, it is working.
Okay. Benson, we are leaving the discussion aside as we are running out of time. We are already 4 minutes after 8 o'clock. Yesterday, Benson, FDC came out and said they are going to be dissolving to form a new political party. And now this is the Katonga faction, which actually came out yesterday after a highly anticipated national delegates conference where they gave the results of the consultations in the 20 sub-regions of this country, where now they came out to say that they are going to be forming a new political party. And the events of yesterday were opened up by one of the party secretary, that's Chairman Waswa Barigwa, who saw members united in their commitment to start that is a new political party. And now, we did see also the FDC President Salongo Elias Lukwago outline also criticized the Electoral Commission for siding with the National Kubik group, which they also deemed legitimate. What can you say about FDC members moving to now form a new political party? Where does that put the blue party or the blue color ahead of 2026?
First, what me viewers will have to understand is, me personally I have to understand is, which I should say I've already understood is, party, the name of party is like a brand. You know, changing the name of something is like, to some extent, killing the brand of that thing. First of all, there are so many things maybe they have considered to see that they actually change the name, they rebrand the name of the party.
No, that is going to move to form their own political party now.
Okay.
Because there are two member factions under FDC. If you look at, we have National Kumbi and the Katonga group.
Okay.
And the Katonga group is where we see leaders like Elias Lukwago, Ibrahim Semujunganda. These are powerful leaders which you cannot underscore. And then if you look at the National Kumbi bloc, you also find powerful leaders like Patrick Amuriat Oboy. And then you have also the other leaders who are also subscribing to that. We are seeing two factions under one party. But now one party has said they are moving away to form their new political party. Where does this put FDC at?
Okay, now the issue here is, first of all, before I analyze it further, before I narrate about it further, people are going to look at it. Let me talk about the other political parties. So many of them, NRM is there, NUP is there. First of all, I should say right now, there are 3 competitors. They are famous political parties. Though others are there. I said NRM is one of them, NUP is one of them, and also FDC is one of them. One of the iconic political parties. Now, that one, of course, will give opportunity, will give that chance to the other 2 political parties, NRM and NUP. Those are some of the iconic political parties. They will look at it as a weakness on the side of FDC. Maybe some of them have already started, after hearing the news like that, they have already started saying that the party is now splitting. Like if the FDC is split into 2, obviously you will see the weakness. That means the other side will go this way, the other side will go this way. NRM together with the NUP may utilize that opportunity to also bring down that FDC. First of all, it has been one party. If it is split into 2, how will it be? First of all, the weakness part of it will come automatic. Secondly, division will be there. Like I said earlier on, other parties will use that opportunity to build themselves.
One thing I've learned about these political parties is that some people join them basing on individuals. Other people came to FDC because of retired Kiza Besigye.
Exactly.
And when Besigye moves away, and now he has moved away to form that is the Katonga faction, where they're going to be forming a new political party. Trust me, others are going moving with him. Then others will remain there because of Patrick Amuriat Oboy and Nathan Andala Mafabi.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do I say this? Recently, just over the weekend, the FDC National Kumi bloc was in Lugazi to launch their new online mass election. You saw the numbers. The numbers didn't lie. And we saw the people slowly converting. We found new converts in this exercise in there where we saw people converting from the other parties in NRM, from NUP, to join FDC, the National Kumi bloc. What do you think the division will mean to this party? Will it regain its popularity of being the main opposition group in this country? Because in the last elections, I will openly say this, they lost that pride to NUP. NUP was just a new political party, and where the assessment is done by having the majority number of opposition groups in the parliament. And now FDC is not the main opposition group. Do you think they will be able to revive the glory?
First of all, it's true. You know, there's iconic figures behind these political parties. For NRM, whenever you talk about NRM, people know that it is our man, that's His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the head of the state. When you talk about NUP, the iconic figure there is Robert Chagulanyi, Bob Wine. And when you talk about FDC, like you have said, people know that it is Besigye. Now, when people, maybe it will help the current generation, maybe the previous generation, if I may try to flashback, when they get to hear that FDC has been split into two, whereby Dr. Kiza Besigye has already left it and is forming a new political party. What do you think people will say about FDC? It's like an iconic figure going away. Obviously, that brand will go down. That's what I can say.
So what do you think the political parties need to have done instead of forming a political party? Don't you think, because these people made their demands were three. One of which was to go back and reconcile or form a new political party or dissolve, which they actually did yesterday in there. What do you think about
I think the best option could have been reconciliation, because like I said earlier on, changing the name of a party, changing the name of a product is like you are killing the brand of that thing.
You're forming a new brand, you have to build from scratch.
From grass. Now, if they were to say that they have to change the name of the party, obviously the party was going to die. It is like starting it from the grass, because first of all, I am looking at the elderly people. They will not understand this.
You know, talking about the elderly, retired Kiza Besigye actually came out to ask the former war veterans to support the new idea. No, are they going to be buying to the new idea?
First of all, they grew in the family of FDC, knowing that FDC has been the brand. Now, if they are going to change the name of it, obviously it will go down. Maybe, like I said earlier on, unlike the new generation, which is full of modernity, which is full of technology, those ones, they can understand it. To me, the best way could have been not even resolving the party, not even changing the name of the party. The best one, according to me, was just to sit down and reconcile.
These people have been undergoing what we call counterweight consultations. And in the consultations, these people made three demands. One, formation of a new political party. That was one, which they are going to be doing so. And the solution of FDC in accordance, which is with the party's constitution, which is also really where they also maybe base their defense. And then secondly, extension of the current leadership tenure, that is to also really oversee these transitions. These were the three demands these people actually made. And now, they are going to be dissolving FDC to form their new political party. But now the question many people are actually asking is that how do you dissolve something you're not in charge of? Because right now, FDC is in the hands of Patrick Amuriat Opoy and Nathan Nandala Mafabi group.
And now, so many people...
What does that put FDC at? What does that show of maybe the blue color? What maybe in the camp of blue of the blue color?
Now people will start now saying that what happened, if it's true that the party has been shifted into the hands of another person, like I said earlier on, people knew and people continues to know FDC under Dr. Kiza Besigye. That's why each and every time we talk about FDC, people's mind, trust me, 90% of people's mind will go about Dr. Kiza Besigye. Now they will say, what happened? Is he leaving politics? And another thing is, like I said, this one, of course, is going to expose weaknesses. And at the same time, to some extent, it might be to a smaller extent, or to a greater extent. All these parties, they are looking for a way of how they can be able to fix strong pillars against some of the political parties. NRM is there, NUP is there. FDC, I think, maybe they have sensed, they have realized that the party is no longer in existence. Though it is there, but is it functional? Maybe those are the things they have considered, they have looked at. Maybe they feel that people are no longer with the much vibe. When you talk about FDC, that might be the reason as to why they want to form new political parties. As new political party, NUP came with the new political party, and it's one of the famous party, and we are one of the famous parties, and we are only left with a year and a very few months. Maybe they also want to strategize and use the mechanics. NUP used to see that they come up with a new party such that they can be able to grab people's attention from maybe NRM, from NUP. That's why when NUP came with a lot of vibe, we saw some people shifting from FDC, shifting from NRM to NUP. Maybe they want to come up with a unique brand which can also be able to attract the other members of NRM and the other members of NUP. Maybe
so in other words, do we expect this sport to unite? If at all this would work for them? Because the new party, we have seen FDC moving, the National Bloc was over the weekend in Lugazi. You saw the numbers, and now we are going to be seeing the Katonga faction also with the powerful leaders coming to the grassroots. But are they going to be making that support? Or because many people have been saying, because many people have been terming the new faction, I wouldn't want to say that, but I wouldn't also want to believe in that, because this is the allegation many of them are actually making, that the Katonga faction is actually for a section of people, not for everybody.
You know, far as me, I used to say, I continue to say that politics is actually like a game of sports, whereby you may sign or else you may fail. For you to sign, you need so many things, and you can easily fail. And first of all, you know, of late, so unlike in our regime when we are still teens, we don't used to know much about politics. But of late, youths, I know you are aware, they have started understanding politics. First of all, youths, they need something, they always feel in love with something which is unique. First of all, what are they going to come up with? How are they going to build it? How are they going to strategize it? It's one thing I am looking forward to see. Okay,
leaving that aside, anything you want to add forward to that?
No, what I want to say is it's now becoming dramatic. In the months are running faster.
We just left about 15 months to the next election. But now, is 15 months really enough for this to popularize their new political party which they're going to be forming?
That's why I continue to say it will depend on how, of course, they are going to settle the matter, the name of the political party, how functional it's going to be, how, of course, they can be in position to attract the funds from the other parties. You know, grabbing someone from another party, you need to play a lot of roles, If they can be able to live up to the billing, up to the peak, it can become a popular party. But if they are still going to strategize the same way how FDC has been operating before, of course, it will be a mess on their side.
Okay, leaving that aside, Benson, towards the end of this month, we are going to be having the regional parliamentary sitting, the first ever edition, and this will be taking place in Gulu City. But now, many people have come out to actually criticize, with others supporting in there. Remember, a lot of controversy has been generated solely when it comes to this issue of the regional parliamentary sittings. And now the leader of opposition has been on the spotlight by also some of the leaders from northern Uganda who have come out to criticize him also for terming that also tribalistic, because he made a statement that also did not go well with some of the legislators in northern Uganda, where he said these parliamentary sittings are taxpayers, which is a wastage of money to taxpayers' money. And now we are seeing also Otafiro also coming out to also criticize in the same manner in there. But now, Benson, now the Minister of that is Internal Affairs, Ruhinda County, that is South County, MP, that is General Hindo Otafiri, has criticized Parliament's proposed what we call regional sittings, calling them as a waste of taxpayers' money. Now, Otafiri made the remarks on Sunday during a Thanksgiving Mass. That's for Reverend Father Vincent Muchunguzi, the parish priest, that is of Mushanga Catholic Parish, that's in the same municipality in there. Now, he questioned the logistics of accommodating all the MPs, drivers, and staff in regions like Gulu, Mbarara, and also highlighting the train that's on resources in there. Remember, they are going to be holding this in at least four regions, where Gulu will be the first one. And remember, in each of these, 5 billion Ugandan shillings will be spent. And totaling to that is 20 billion, because if you look at the four regions where these regional sittings will be going on, we are going to be wasting 20 billion. That is according to the leaders who are criticizing this. But do you think something new would actually be generated out of these regional parliament sittings?
Yeah, first of all, whenever something new is generated, whenever a new idea is initiated, it comes with so many things. First of all, people have started talking about the wastage of citizens' tax
money.
Is it true? Is it a lie? To some extent, you may say yes, it is the wastage of citizens' tax. Someone may say that this is something which, of course, must work. First of all, I want to look at why are they trying to regionalize parliamentary sitting. Maybe there are some things, there are one or two things they are looking forward to see. That might be the reason as to why they are trying to regionalize those parliamentary sittings. In the aspect of wasting the tax of those citizens, I may say it's true. First of all, they are going to, whenever there is a gathering, more especially in the parliament, always expect a lot of cars to flourish. And yet, in the other sectors, people are suffering, citizens are suffering. And if so many get to know about this, will this one not cause a problem? These are the things, of course, you need to first analyze before you make such kind of
But Benson, some of the MPs have not been speaking in Kampala. They feel if we move the parliament to the regions, their MPs are going to be
that was the point.
Taking the floor. Do you think this will improve on the quality of debate? Because me, I'm looking at it in this way, Benson. I really feel some of these MPs who have not been talking in Kampala, once we move the parliament to their regions, we are going to be seeing hands up because each and everyone wants to see their voters active.
That was where I was coming to. You know, it's true. Some people really fear. Whenever they're in their residential area, you always see them speaking in
home advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Home advantage. You always see them speaking in high volume. But whenever they are abroad, they keep quiet. They fear so many people. That's why I was saying that if you marked my first statement, to some extent, it's a very good idea. But to some extent, it's not a very good idea.
Now, where is that to some extent? Where it is?
Why I am saying it's not a good idea is, of course, to me, I still have to stand to my words. It is wastage of citizens' money. That's why I was saying that in other sectors, people are suffering. And if so many get to know about this, and this is the budget which has been allocated for regional parliamentary sitting, of course, it's going to annoy so many people. And how often is it going to be? Will it be monthly? Will it be weekly? Will it be after 2 months? Of course, if it will be maybe one after the other. Obviously, the wastage of the tax
will 20 billion, there. Amounting 20 billion.
20 billion.
20 billion can do what? Can build what? A school?
20 billion can do so many things. Coming to the other point, the other point, coming to the other sector, to the other extent of how it will actually help the various regions. No, that's not only for northern region, not only for western region. Yeah, it's true. At least these other leaders will be in person to have a voice to speak, because you will know that it's like sitting in a small family. You know, sometimes when you are having a family meeting, at least you kids, you can be able to speak. Daddy, this one is like this. Mom, this one is like this. But when it reaches to clan meeting, you hide it. Even your father cannot speak. This one is like concerning that issue, it will work. But concerning the other aspect of wastage of revenue, that's something which will raise the eyebrows of people. But you know that money is actually the icon of everything.
This is how I'm looking at the whole scenario, looking at the benefits. The MPs who have not been talking in Parliament. We have many in northern Uganda. I should also say this clearly. We have had MPs who do not talk, and they rarely talk, and they rarely participate in the debates. I really feel if we allowed these regional parliamentary sittings, we would see them, we would mark them. The voters would want to know who is who in these also regional sittings. Because the ordinary person, Benson, by the way, sometimes is not aware of Parliament. Because Parliament is live, but many people do not actually know when Parliament sometimes goes on. And what happens in Parliament, the ordinary person down there who is the voter, who are the majority voters, by the way, do not know what is happening in Parliament. And now when we bring the Parliament regionally, first of all, it being the very first time, the vibe is going to be different. People are going to be putting all their eyes to see what is happening in Gulu. And really that would also really help improve on the quality of debate, where the MPs who have not been opening up their mouth to talk are going to be forced to talk, because they will know that their voters are watching them, and that would also really make sure they participate in these activities. And then secondly, that would also really help issues of resource allocation, mobilization. Then we are going to be saying, look at this. You travel. Let's give an example of the road, the poor road that connects, that is northern Uganda to central. Some of the MPs have been in Kampala. They have been in central Uganda. They hardly moved to northern Uganda. That is why they may not support some of the bills. And now when we table some issues now with northern Uganda, the issue of nodding disease, if at all we are to present some of these ideas with the evidence that they will see, trust me, people are going to be seeing how best and the reason for them to support some of the bills. And that will still improve on service delivery. Then come to the schools. If at all our MPs are going to be moving to the floor of Parliament and make certain demands when it comes to research, maybe resource and infrastructure lobbying, evidence by these MPs who had never moved to northern Uganda, because we have MPs who had never stepped certain places in northern Uganda. They have been in Kampala. If they move to these main capital cities. Maybe they move to Buru, or they come to Arua. that is where they move and stop. And definitely they will not be knowing what is happening in Agago, what is happening in Dokolo, what is happening in Yumbe. But once they move to the regional cities, then as they are moving, trust me, they are going to be seeing certain things. And then that would be a reason enough for them to also really bite some of the ideas which the MPs are going to be presenting. And that means our MPs must take advantage of these regional sittings, if at all it's going to be going on. They must front one idea. If at all our MPs reunite and present really one idea during this, also it would be able to be very well for me. Because looking at most of our demand, as Northern Uganda, as Western Sub-region in particular, our main demand has been electricity. Now that we have been connected to the national grid, what next for us as a region? I really feel our next priority should have been the demand in terms of the road infrastructure. Look at the road for Arua City, which is really a main transport business road that connects Arua and Pakwach, and that is the entire Western Sub-region to 3 countries. One, this road connects us to DRC, because all the cars come from there, at least they branch to Vurakasum, or others connect, that is through Raba. That is already a business hub. It connects us to DRC, it connects us to South Sudan, and Central Africa as well is still using the same road. Our priority should have been on this road. If all our MPs reunite and say, let's front our ideas on road. Once that idea is presented, MPs of Acholi sub-region put up their hand. MPs of Lango sub-region say, this is our demand. Our MPs of West Nile sub-region all put up their hand and say, let us push for this. Trust me, government will see a reason for developing this road. And that would be an advantage of this regional parliamentary sitting. Then thirdly, the advantage is going to be coming for those local hotels that are within. Looking at so many hotels that are within Acholi sub-region, Acholi and many other names, they are going to be accommodating all these also really members of parliament, the 500 plus their drivers. That means the hotels are not going to be enough. And then that would also really force some to move to Arua City, because recently I was interacting with one of the leaders who actually came out and who was criticizing this parliamentary move and said this is not only, it is not an issue of Northern Uganda, it is an issue of Acholi sub-region, because Lango sub-region is not going to be benefiting through that. But I want to say it is a total lie, because we may have MPs who may opt to sleep in Arua, because they are from Western Sub-region. They may opt to sleep in Western Sub-region. That is still a benefit for them. And that would also really help improve on the tourism. And this would actually help improve on the tourism sector for this region. And then so that is where I really feel these are the advantages before I go into the disadvantages.
First, spicing up something little onto what you have said just in a few seconds. It's true. If they are regionalizing the parliamentary settings, I know the best thing, like the way you have analyzed it, these MPs will be in position to come up with a common goal to channel to the national parliamentary. Like you have said, like the MPs, the leaders who are coming from Western region, they may say, this time let's take a look at Arua City, the state of Arua City. In the next parliamentary sitting at the national level, this is what we should present about Arua City. Maybe next time they will say that let's look at Yumbe. The leaders will have a common goal, will have that common understanding. That is the best way, of course, it will work. And also leaders in Acholi, leaders in Lango, leaders in Western region, they will say, the other time we looked at Lango region, which has already been presented to the national parliament. This time, let's focus on Acholi. Next time, we focus on Western region. And in these sub-regions, their districts, their cities, I'm talking about the sector of tourism and the infrastructural development. Obviously, it will come with so many things. Once they have that sitting like this at the regional level, and they come up with a common goal, which can be understood by every leader, and they are able to present it at the national parliamentary sitting. Obviously, they will know that these people, they have come up with this proposal. That means this is something they have agreed upon. Let's work on this one. That is one of the reasons as to why we continue to say that it may work upon, but still it will come up with some disadvantages, which you are coming up with.
Coming up with the disadvantages, remember, we shall be having the 4 parliamentary sittings where Gulu will be hosting, where we shall have Mbale for Eastern, we shall have Masaka City, that is for Western, and also really one that will be going on in the other parts in there. But really, Benson, to look at these 4 regional parliamentary sittings, the regions I believe are going to be benefiting from this. Let's not zero it to Northern Uganda alone. Let's look at Masaka, where cities also really and neighboring districts of Chotera had never seen the parliamentary sittings. So really, that would also still come to an advantage to them. Looking at area districts like Chotera, Gomba, which are around there, trust me, they are going to be benefiting from this, and I really feel at the end of the day, this will be very, very good for them to also really attain certain things here and there. And that is where also really I feel we are going to be living the advantages. Now looking at the disadvantages, the disadvantage is actually one. It is a blessing in disguise for some of these members of parliament who have never traveled to northern Uganda to be massaged also really by our bad road status. Don't you think so? Because our board road should also really welcome them, and they should also really see how terrible the road also really within northern Uganda is, so that also they can be able to really buy some of the ideas and support social mobilization in there. And then secondly, looking at 5 billion, Benson, you moved some of the local governments, the schools are still very much dilapidated. The schools don't have adequate also the resources. And looking at 20 billion, this will do a lot of facelift, and that is where the challenge is coming in. And looking at the health centers, also really some of them are still operating in old structures that deserve to be renovated. And that is where the 5 billion would be dispersed in northern Uganda. Let's say we give maybe 500 million to Lango subdivision to build a school. We give 600 billion, maybe million to a place this and that. That would help do a lot, and that would also help improve on service delivery. That is where the critics of this also regional parliamentary sitting are basing their arguments on. And I feel they have a point when it comes to resource mobilization, because 20 billion, this is our money. This is money that's not coming from the government. This is money that the ordinary citizen who is watching us right now may not be understanding that this is the money they pay in form of taxes, both directly and indirectly through URA, which is going to be used in there. But I wouldn't want to buy the idea that it's going to be wasted, but I feel at the end of the day, still it would be coming with its own benefits in there, because for anything to begin, usually, as you said earlier on, there are hurdles, and that is where the implementation, once implemented successfully, people will buy that idea, because many times people have been in Kampala, where the parliament has been in Kampala. Some of the MPs have not been talking, which I feel is because they fear. And now they are going to be in front of their people, which is going to be in Peche, and this is where we're going to be seeing this parliament being in open ground, in a field. And that would also really be enough for some of the people to meet their leaders. They have never seen. It is also going to be an advantage for the locals to see who is not around. Don't you think so?
Yeah, exactly.
Because some of the MPs have been chopping parliamentary sittings. I feel at the end of the day, for our MPs, we are going to be putting our eyes to see who has said what and who is there, who is not around. Because we are counting down the days. Based on really, this is where I feel the benefit of this regional parliamentary sitting is coming with.
Let me also summarize the disadvantages we have mentioned in a few seconds. It's true this one is also going to come up with some disadvantages which you have already lamented. You take a look at some of these leaders. It's true, if you take a look at the budget that has been allocated for the regional parliamentary sitting, it is a heavy money. First of all, how much money does it require to construct a substandard, maybe secondary school? Is it not just something of 3 billion? 3 billion can construct for you, not even a substandard, a standard secondary school. You leave aside the other issues of payment, what. That money, if it could have been diverted to the other sectors, maybe education, health sector, you have mentioned, it was going to work a lot. But also, on the other side, for you to achieve something, you need to spend. First of all, what these people are going to discuss, of course, will yield fruit at the end, in case they are going to discuss fruitful things. And also, you know, these MPs, they are lobbying for developments in some of the areas. Some of the developments that continues to come, infrastructural developments that continues to come in our areas, they are coming through the lobbying system of these leaders. So the disadvantages are there, but it will depend on how, of course, our locals are going to be sensitized as far as this great initiative is concerned. That's what I can say. Okay, we are leaving that there. We're not buying any idea into that. We are not necessarily adding anything. That is entirely the views of the citizens, and what we are saying entirely is what the citizens are saying. And that is where we are going to be leaving the discussion in relation to the regional parliamentary sittings there, as we look forward towards the end of the month, around 28th. That's when we shall be having the first one also taking place in Gulu City. But now we are going to be taking our first commercial break that will be ushering us into the last half. And this is where also really you should feel free to drop your comments and share your ideas on what you think. And later on we shall be checking through that. For now, we take a short commercial break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Kylian Mbappe! Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, the team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and Limited Passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. My name is Farish Majid. I'm still together with Oraku Benson Pastori, and we are still giving you insights into some of the stories that continue to make rounds in the world of current affairs, and also the discussions that continue to sort of happen amongst the communities in there. And earlier on, we were discussing about the regional parliamentary sittings, and we also touched something about the parliamentary, also really where we did see the president also really carrying out reshuffles, where Arua City wasn't also really spared as part of that in there, and we had a lengthy discussion of that. And now we want to look at also really where Ugandan minority groups continue to demand their own member of parliament in there, and I will be also really touching that later on, where the Association of the Ethnic Indigenous Minority Groups living in Uganda are demanding consideration to have their own political representation in parliament, and the IGM, sorry, whoever drawn from different parts of the country, echoed their grievances while commemorating the International Day of the World Indigenous Peoples, also really day, on that's also really on the World's Indigenous Peoples over the weekend. That's in Paida Town Council in Zombo District, where the Speaker of the Minority Ndukpa Stroke Lendu Kingdom in Zombo District, Mark Utuga, said government should give affirmative action, which defines also their true origin of minority groups and citizens through what we call cultural identities, political space, education, and employment for socio-economic transformation. That is where they continue to make a demand. In the way Utuga said, lack of representation in elective positions solely has subjected Lendu communities to properly also lose that property losses, such as the land also occupied by Lendu Forest in Zombo District. Yet locals were not compensated in there, and that is where they feel they need to have their own member of parliament.
You know,
is the district leadership not enough?
You know, Pharisee, the world we are currently now is a world which is dynamic. Each and every time new things comes with the new ideas, new strategies, new technologies. But the government, of course, will have to come into some of these things. Of course, you cannot say that you want your own thing, and yet this is something which has been set up.
But looking at Zombo district, we have a whole MP there. We have woman MP. We have the representatives of the counties.
Yeah.
Is it still not enough?
That's why I'd say the world is dynamic, but people are, to some extent I am saying, people are trying to take government into their hands. Though we are the government, because the government is of course the people themselves, but we have any representatives who are supposed to channel these things, but people are not making use of these representatives, the representatives of the government. I am talking about the leaders. That means they are sleeping, they are quiet, they have to do something. Whenever such kind of things happens, they will have to raise their voice. You know, something of that kind, at the ending result may not be in a good way. Because
this is, if you look at what these indigenous groups are, in Uganda, the minority groups include that the Batwa, we have the Nyangia, Katibang, we have the Banet, we have the Kebu who are in Zombo district, we have the Lendu, we have Reli, we have the Nubi who are spread across the country. And now, as a member of the United Nations, Uganda is bound by the UN instruments that promotes, that is non-discrimination. And looking at the Nubi, these are people who are also within Arua here. We have others in Bombo, spread across the country, and they're also a part of this group. And now they feel they need to have their own member of parliament to represent their ideas. And looking at this people here, they are spread across different parts. How will the voting take place?
Yeah, first of all, maybe the reason as to why they are saying it like that, maybe there are some things they have failed to understand. It's all about generally, I should say, them being recognized in the parliament. Some of these people, but the Ugandan constitution recognizes some of them. Looking at the Nubi, they are actually recognized. Yeah, some of them are recognized.
As per the 1995 constitution, they are recognized.
That means the constitution will have to be amended to see that those ones who are not still recognized in the parliament, they have to be recognized in the system of the government. Maybe people, the groups that are already recognized, they are quiet because they know that they're already into the system as far as the recognition is concerned.
These people here are spread across the entire country. What these people are saying is that under their umbrella body of the ethnic groups, they need to have their own MP who will front their ideas. Because looking at the Kebu, they're in Zombo district. There are MPs in Zombo district place. Looking at the Nubis, others are here in Arua city, because mainly they are in Arua city here and parts of Koboko. Wherever they are, there are MPs and local governments in place who are representing their ideas.
Yes.
Moving to that place, the Batua, they also have people who are there representing them wherever they are. In Kasisi, they have people who are representing their ideas. Why will these people want their own MP?
Okay, that is the reason as to why I'm saying maybe they feel what the leaders are doing for them concerning carrying forward their ideas is not enough. But so, I should say,
so are you buying the idea of there's nothing for us without us? In other words, somebody who is to lead them should be amongst themselves.
No, no, completely no. First of all, you know, the system of government is having channels. Government is an institution that has been constructed a long time ago. You cannot say that you are an ethnic group, you are maybe a kingdom. You can't say totally I don't abide with the idea they should be having their own leaders.
Okay, leaving that aside, as we are running out of time, government to register 3 million youth ahead of polls is another story we are seeing in the past this morning, where the government is targeting to register 3 million youths aged 16, and these are still not also others. By the time they will be clocking 18, and that is also where we shall be heading 2026, they will be 18 now. Government is seeking to register them and also identify cards that will be also enabling them participate in the voting. Also, now the aim is to make them eligible to participate in the next general polls, and the State Minister for Internal Affairs, that is General David Muhoozi, has called upon the targeted youth to use the next few weeks to register themselves also in there. Now that's where we are seeing the 16 years of age are being registered, because by 2026 there will be 18 years.
To me, I don't look at it as a bad idea, because you need to be registered as long as you are a youth, I should say. You are a youth as you have already surpassed the stage of being 18, because we normally say actually 18, from 18 and above, you're already supposed to be having a membership card. whereby you can be able to participate in the rights of election, or in the rights of that's voting. Now, Faris, why is it that this thing is happening towards the period of election? You see so many youths, they have been suffering, others have even completed the senior 6, others have gone up to university. They have taken IDs, national ID, photos. Up to now, the IDs are nowhere to be seen. Now government has seen that the period of election is approaching. That's where you will see that the IDs will now be flourishing. Don't even be surprised that you have taken...
Benson, looking at the IDs, other people are going to be having their IDs expired this year. But recently the government came out to say that these IDs are extended for 1 year more. Because if it has expired this time, it will still indicate expired. But it has been extended for another year because government is still looking for resources to make sure that these people are registered. And now the IDs are going to be replaced. But for this new category who do not have the IDs, the minister, that is Minister Mhozi, also already outlined several activities that will be conducted during this period, where they will be hiring at least 13,000 staff to carry out this mass enrollment. That is in the 10,717 parishes in this country, ahead of the forthcoming next general elections. Because if you look at these numbers, they will be also doing this work here.
The number is going to be massive because 300 million youths. That is a massive.
And this is going to be in the 10,717 parishes in this country.
That is going to be massive. The population is going to be massive. I know this one will help the youth because, you know, staying without the ID is something, of course, a person will feel that he maybe is not a citizen of the country. To me, I would say openly, the period of the election is at the door. That's why they want to process these things early, such that the number of voters, when it comes to 2026, will be great.
Okay, Benson, when is your ID expiring? Before
my ID is expiring in 2027.
Okay, then that means there's an additional for you where it will be expiring now in 2028.
Why am I saying this one is because I've seen, even it happened with my brother. My brother has already taken ID twice up to now. He continues to go to the office of NIRA. They keep on telling him that the ID is still undergoing process, and there are some opportunities which continues to knock these youths. And because, you know, of late, for you to get a hassle, ID is like an icon. Some of these opportunities, they are coming for these youths because you don't have the ID. You find that you have been ignored. But that is a very good initiative being taken by government to see that. I hope it will work in the near future.
Okay. That is where person above age of 18 years old. So by 2018, it is their constitutional mandate to also allow them to participate in elections. That is why government is coming up to make sure that they are registered within this period in here. Now, for those whose IDs are expiring this year, because we started seeing these IDs being processed from 2014, for those who got their IDs in 2014, right now, their IDs should be running down, and they should be counting months to the end of maybe the period where their IDs are going to be expiring. Others will be having their IDs expire early next year. That means they need to also really focus on now having their IDs also be replaced in there.
That means they will have to sign a new contract.
Yes, they will have to sign new contracts because their contracts with the government of Uganda is really running down. For those who processed and got in 2013, we are saying their IDs are going to be extended because by this month, also in the next coming few months, their IDs will be expiring. But government is saying 1 more year extension on their contracts.
Those ones who are still having a long way to go like me, do we have a release clause?
No, for you people are still there. Based on that release clause is still being extended. That is where also really we are leaving that discussion aside. Now jetting into Tezi, where we also saw the tragic incident where garbage was able to kill people. Now it is 10 days, at least I should say this morning that the days have entered 10 days, but the search is still on because 29 people were said to be missing. 29, really, you look at 29 people said to be missing. And yesterday also, and the day before yesterday, we saw one day being recovered from the incident. That means more people are still trapped underneath this garbage, but efforts to still also find out where these municipal is still going on. And now the rescue team at Chitezi landfill in Wakiso district also really is still searching for the bodies of individuals who also really went missing and were buried also really under the waste also really in there. That's according from police. While addressing journalists in Chitezi yesterday afternoon, Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson, that is Patrick Onyango, said that the police team is also still doing their work to retrieve the bodies that are still working also really to have the bodies also really be removed from underneath in there. That is one thing also we did see happening. And now the issue of garbage, Benson, has caused a lot of panic in most of the local governments, not only Wakiso district, even Narua city. Today, under panic, they are saying what is happening in Chitezi may also really happen to them. And in Entebbe, which also still within Wakiso, we saw people rejecting the garbage also really plan that is temporarily being pushed in there because they are now fearing if government does not address the issue of garbage in this country, where are we heading to? Don't we see doom ahead of us? And who is supposed to solely help government in making sure the issue of garbage management is a success?
It's true, our future is becoming doom and malnourished. If you take the sector of garbage, like you have said, it's not only a concern within Kampala, not only within Wakiso, it has been all over the country, even here in Narua city, like you have mentioned, we have been suffocating, we have been suffering because of the issue of garbage. I think that is one sector government of Uganda will have to prioritize on, because issues to be done with garbage. First of all, what is a garbage? How does it look? How does it affect people? If government is to analyze all these things, obviously it should have been taken as a priority. But I don't know, they are doing it in a controlled manner. They are doing it in ironical way. This is something which is not good for human health. And you have seen it for several times. It's not the first of its kind. We are seeing garbage killing people. Now, it is going now to extreme end. It has reached at the peak. That means it is the role of the government to see that something has to be done. Me, I will continue to say that people think that government is Museveni, as government is the leaders. Government is you as an individual. Those people are the representatives of government who have that voice to you. You as a human being, you as an individual. You can even manage garbage. First, can't I be in person to manage garbage?
Yes, the easiest way, Benson, to manage garbage is actually right from the homes.
Exactly.
Separate decomposable garbage from non-decomposable garbage. If it is foodstuffs, put them in one packet.
True.
Make work easier for those who are the garbage plants. If it's plastic, make it quite easier. Separate it. That is the quickest and the easiest way of actually how we can be able to deal with this garbage. And remember, Arua City is coming up with an ordinance that is also going to be addressing the issue of garbage, because garbage management, Benson, by the way, is not only a concern in Wakiso, it is happening in Arua City. Recently, we have been chopping of garbage. I was able to do a story of where Arua City was chopping of garbage.
If we cannot,
and you see, the local governments allocating money for that. But at the plant, where also in water, we see these people also doing their work. It means these workers are going a lot. And now with the rains, garbage burning also may not be possible, because every time it's raining, and to burn that garbage requires at least some bit of drying to also make sure it dries, then it is burnt.
If we locals, we cannot be able to support government in managing garbage, how will the whole impact be? Because government comes like a help. Government comes like a helper, rather, I should say, in that way. If we, the locals, we cannot be able to do that one. First of all, who are the people behind this garbage? Is it not the local community members? Like you go around the community members, like government. First of all, take a look at the population of a particular place. How many people are there? And the garbage collection.
And by the way, based on these industrial cities, these cities, we may say they are very good, but the disadvantage is that they generate a lot of waste. Because look at the garbage that is being generated from the city center. Each and every time, garbage is being collected. Because people buy boxes, there are caveras. Every time garbage is being generated, heaps of garbage are being generated, Benson. You move to the business centers, how many people are buying clothes? And these come in caveras. These come in boxes from wherever they're coming from. And that garbage goes where? It is supposed to be taken to the final power plant. That is in a water garbage plant where this is supposed to be disposed of. either by burning or turning it into other products, because that garbage also really has an advantage. The decomposable garbage is actually turned into manure, and that is where the benefit is also really coming for the local governments. And that is where they need to prioritize it. And I feel that is one thing, if we do not work on, we are going to be suffering.
First, in summary, just in 20 seconds, me, I love this idea of borrowing the ideas of coping mechanism. In Europe, you cannot hear much about it. Matthias, it is there. You cannot
even
hear
in
about
Rwanda, just Rwanda here. Why do we copy from Europe? Looking at Rwanda, individual responsibility. People do not dump bottles like how they're doing in Arua City. You talk about Rwanda. Today, it is one of the cleanest countries in the world. Not only in Africa. That means it is possible. Mindset change is very key here. And dealing with the laws only. We may have the laws in place, but implementation is zero. And once implementation is zero, we are still doing nothing. Because Benson really let me give you an example of Rwanda. You can hardly find somebody taking a bottle of water and dumping it outside the cars. Because if you dump it, people are going to be following you up and arrest you for that. But in Uganda, you somebody with the car, bottle, chip, outside. Somebody is in a bus, cover out. Mindset change.
That means managing garbage is not all about to be left in the hands of government.
That is it. That is
the role of the individuals. Yeah.
And now, as we run out of time, still in relation to the issue of garbage, KCA, which is Kampala Capital City Authority, has run to that cabinet over the ultimatum that is to dump garbage at Nkumba landfill, because recently we did see Kampala Capital City Authority Deputy Executive Director, that is Mr. David Luimba. He also has said that the authority is yet to find an alternative dumping site for the city's garbage, and Mr. Luimba said they are seeking the interventions of the cabinet, which is meeting today at State House in Tebe to address the 4-day ultimatum issued by Entebbe Municipality Council on Friday to stop dumping garbage. That's at Nkumba Bufulu landfill, because really what's happened in Kitezi, people also really saw it that they now had to stop the garbage trucks from going to dump more, and now they resorted to dumping the garbage in other alternative areas. But now the leaders of also in Tebe have come out and said, no, we're not allowing you to dump garbage here because you need to fulfill this and that. And now KCA has run to the cabinet. What do you think cabinet should do to KCA?
Obviously, we have discussed about managing garbage in length. What I want to say in summary is government, of course, will have to now fix eyes onto this one, because if government is going to is not going to take it as a priority, obviously the effect will be on the masses. So government, I should say, simply will have to take it and prioritize on it. We'll have to work something on it.
The contract for dumping garbage at Nkumba is running down, and that brings us to the world of sports. Benson, as we are seeing the leagues returning. Yesterday there was a game, and over the weekend as well. We saw many games being played, and that means the teams are back from where they stopped. And we saw table leaders of last season picking from where they stopped. What does that also put us?
It's true, the season is bouncing back, and that's why I can confirm to you, locally here, teams also preparing ahead of the new season. Over the weekend, we saw a friendly between Paida Black Angels and the team of Nebi Central. Nebi Central, of course, is a team that plays in Western Regional League. Meanwhile, Paida Black Angels been one of the entries into FIFA Big League. Unfortunately, they were actually hammered by Nebi Central by 3-0. That game was actually played at Luo Ground, the playing ground of Nebi Central. And also, still locally here, health institutional ball games, they are currently going in Koboko Municipality. Yesterday was the day for athletics. There are so many sporting disciplines there. Athletics is one of them. Football, netball, volleyball, so many of them. I can confirm to you. Interestingly, Arua City actually will be the host for the national ball games for health institutional ball games. That means starting from next week, expect so many health institutional ball games. In fact, I expect so many health institutions from the other parts of the country to flourish here in Arua City to play the national ball games. Currently, which is going in Koboko is actually regional ball games. And summarizing it with what is happening in Europe, newly promoted side in the names of Leicester City, yesterday night in Monday Night Football had to register a draw against Spurs. Vardy still can't stop scoring for Foxes, and also Pedro Porro scoring for the team of Spurs. Like you have said, teams that left it last season, they have actually picked it from where they left. But now, can they be able to keep the momentum is actually what everyone is waiting to see. Man City having a very big win over the team of Chelsea. Gunners picking it from where they left it last season. Liverpool still continue to
Benson, if you are to anticipate, which team do you think is likely to win this season's campaign?
Me, I will say, as long as
Look at the top 4 teams: Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United, and Liverpool.
As long as Guardiola still remains at Manchester City, will not pave way for any other team. I am looking at Man City's Guardiola's team of Manchester City. Arsenal will still keep the momentum, will give havoc for the team of Manchester City, but Man City at the end will win it. And also Fabregas' team, Como yesterday night, were also in action against Juventus. They were hammered by 3 goals to 0, but still the starting point. Lastly, Real Madrid opened the campaign in La Liga with a draw up against Real Mallorca. Barcelona traveled to Mestalla and managed to pick a win up against Valencia. So many things. The league is back. Enjoy your football. First, that's what I should say.
This is what I can say. Arsenal will be winning this season's Premier League, and in La Liga, Real Madrid still will